Cool, now you did it. You are now listening to Viking Web Productions podcast. Don't look at me, you did this to yourself. Now, let's sit back and listen to Eric with his dribble this time.
So we're going to have a brief discussion about paid and non-paid applications, be it from different plugins on WordPress to different tools to AdWords to Facebook posts or Facebook ads. So with WordPress, it's actually very easy to have a very powerful website with nothing but free plugins. Because more than likely, everything that you want to accomplish on your website can be done with free plugins. Now, some of you think that you need all these bells and whistles that you can't find plugins for, so you have to get the pro versions of some plugins to make it work. In all honesty, you don't need that. Just because, one, if your client is wanting a special feature on your website and they're letting you know, fine, get the paid one. But if you're just starting a website and you want all these bells and whistles and features and things that you think look cool, don't waste your time or your money. Because one, you're going to overload your client and they're just going to go away. And they'll go down the street and find somebody else that's not going to overload them and go for it. Because I'm going to tell you something. Doesn't matter what niche or business or what a little widget you're trying to sell, people want stupid simple. And the more options you give them, the more confused they're going to get and the more pissed off they're going to get, and they are not going to care about your website. I can assure you this. It does not matter. I have seen it time and time again, and I can keep on spouting off until my heart decides that it's had enough. And it does not matter. So I know you're the client and you're always right, but when I'm telling you that your clientele is not going to want that, I can assure you your clientele does not want that. And if you're going to sit there and confuse them with little bells and whistles, then you don't have the right to come up to me and tell me that I'm not selling anything off my website. Truth to be told. Now, for all these other little tools that everybody keeps sending me saying, oh, look at this little tool, look at this tool. I can find a tool that is not $99 a month, that is free, that does the same damn thing if you need it. And if I tell you you do not need some client management software for your brand new store that you have made maybe 3 sales off of in the 3 months that it's been up, guess what you don't need? Because it's not going to boost your sales. And if it's claiming to boost your sales, guess what? You really don't need it. Because it's not going to boost your sales. There is no magic wand. It's going to take work and it's going to take some time. That's the only way your website is going to grow. You need to be popping out content, putting it out on social networks, using your Google My Business, getting people to your website so they can actually buy something. same thing if you go to Spotify or Spotify if you want a podcast. Just stupid simple. Set one up this morning for somebody. Took me 5 minutes. But if you're using like Shopify and Etsy and all these other little platforms, they're not going to boost your sales. You're going to be spending more money on Shopify than anything to even get a dose of traffic. Seriously, Shopify is not your answer if you're trying to do something on online sales. If you're doing online sales, Shopify is not the answer for you. I don't care what the commercials say. If you're paying a monthly charge to see your Google Analytics, no, you're not spending money wisely. That one I will actually get very vocal about. If you come up to me and say, my WordPress shop isn't doing well, so I'm going to go to Shopify, I will tell you exactly what you're doing wrong by uttering those words to me, and then show you exactly what you need to be doing to boost your sales off of your WordPress site, because you actually have more tools for free with WordPress than you do with Shopify. And with Shopify, you're going to be spending an enormous amount of monthly fees, because just the base price alone does not tell you that you're going to have to spend $45 a month for SEO. Well, the option to do SEO on your own. The bigger you get in your shop, your shop is the more you spend on Shopify. It doesn't tell you that, but with WordPress, you can have a million different products on your website, and you don't pay anything a month. The only thing you're doing is paying a yearly charge for your domain name and your hosting. And most of the time, your domain name and your hosting is going to be equal to a month of Shopify. I am not bullshitting you. That is the God honest truth. And then on top of that, if you want to do Facebook shopping, that's for free with WordPress. You can do that with WordPress, and you can also sell on Instagram. But guess what? You actually need a website that's actually going to process money. So I know some people are being told that you can sell off of Facebook and Instagram without a website. You are completely and utterly wrong. You need a website. Doesn't matter if it's Shopify or if it's WordPress or if it's Wix. You need a website to be able to sell, because they don't transact on Instagram and Facebook. So get that little notion out of your head right there. Second you see a product show up on Facebook or Instagram, you click on it, they're going to their website. So if you have a WordPress site, you can do all that for free. It's just 10 minutes of setup. If you already have your shop set up, just need to get some authorizations from from Facebook and Instagram, and you're good to go. And then it takes about 24 hours for everything to get loaded up to the 2, and you're off. Now for your Facebook ads, it's actually quite easy to spend $10 to get quite a big following to your website, and it's actually a hell of a lot cheaper than doing Google ads, especially if you have a high competition keyword. Like, I have a couple clients that are in a very, very competitive field, and you can actually spend $3,000 a month on Google ads very easily, and that's just with 10 words. So even with my field, I can't, some keywords I can't use because, thank you Apple, but they won't allow that to happen with some of the keywords that I want to use to promote my business. Same goes for Facebook. But you can actually start populating Facebook and growing your page views there, and you can actually see what posts are actually getting a lot of traction, and if those posts that are getting a lot of traction are leading to a lot of website visits, because you can actually link it to say you have a product on Facebook and it's got 700 views and 300 shares, but if it only has 50 page visits, then you're not going to want to boost that. So it basically what it comes down to is you got to know your traffic and where your traffic's coming from on your website, so you could actually see which avenue you're going to spend on. Say Facebook isn't doing so good, but Instagram is, so you want to boost the Instagram post, get some page views, get some people interested on your website, and maybe you throw up a few more pictures on Instagram and they fail, and then all of a sudden Pinterest is peaking up. Do the same thing on Pinterest. You can have a budget of $5 and you can actually reach a hell of a lot of people very quickly on both of those platforms. And then with LinkedIn, you can actually do the same thing there. Same with Twitter. Hell, you can even start a podcast and you can actually monetize your podcast very easily and very quickly. Every platform can use, or every business can use a podcast. So it's very important to know the tools out there, and know that paying for a tool is not always the best option to go with, especially if it's claiming that it's going to give you more traffic. It more than likely it's not. Honestly, it's just going to take hard work and a little bit of time, but you should start seeing some growth on your website in about 30 days is when you should start seeing some of the hard work that you've done. You should actually start seeing the increase in traffic. And content's always going to be king. And if you're not linking to your website with your content on social sites or Google My Business, you're shooting yourself in the foot. So I know that was kind of rambly and all over the place, but that's basically it for throwing money at a problem is not always the best thing. And it's never going to solve anything. It's just going to make your problems worse. So, if you have questions, go ahead and give me a yell on my contact page or in my comments. I'll always answer questions.
Well, this episode is over. Finally, Viking Web Productions podcast is brought to you by by Robot Overlords. Please subscribe, like, and share this podcast, even with your grandmother. She doesn't hear from you any other time, so surprise her with this gift. That will get you a brownie point. Tee-hee. Until next time, this is Emma. One day I will be like Pennywise. Like Mother always wanted.